This is WWP Weekly Wrestling Podcast.
Here with the one and the only TJP, TJ Perkins, following Alpha One Wrestling. What's going on, man?
Everybody would be like the only, you know? So everybody's their one and only, I guess. Everything's going good. I haven't been back to Canada, especially this part, in a few years, and so it was fun. It was nice to come back.
Happy to see you here, man. WWP, there's no secret. You're one of our first guests here on the Weekly Wrestling Podcast. So it was great to see you finally in Canada. Alpha One Wrestling, what a place to be as well. Talk a little bit about your match with Brent Banks.
I had actually not seen a lot of Brent Banks before, and I was scheduled for Del Bruno, and he had an injury recently, and so the card was mixed around. I believe there's another injury too, so Brent Banks and I ended up tournament style, like we came together, and the dude's incredible in the ring. I mean, he's really impressive, and I thought it worked for a good match. You know, like they say, styles make fights, and he's a really versatile guy. I'm a real versatile guy, so it was a really, really cool match. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's been a very eventful 2015, but heading into 2016, it's even picking up even more. January 5th, PopTV, Impact Wrestling returns and debuts. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, it's a change for us, and new year, new beginning, and so it's always exciting when you get to collaborate in a new direction, and I'm looking forward to it. I think that coming off the tournament and everything that the company's doing, there's a lot of new roads that have been paved for guys, and myself included, and I'm excited about the new direction that I'm ready to take on, and all the other guys too. I think that we'll be able to give the people a lot of new different things. I feel like our priorities are getting younger. Like, it seemed like we had different generations, different guys that
2010 it was like the Hogans, the Bischoff. Now you guys are really focusing on the independent talent and the younger talent, giving younger guys a chance.
Yeah, I mean, and even previously, I mean, that's to me, I think, just maybe this is nostalgia speaking, but I mean, I always thought that those were great times too, and but I think that people are ready for different stuff, and the younger guys, obviously, I mean, I think a lot of guys are coming into their own, so it's a pretty cool time for our roster, I think.
Absolutely. You're in a pretty unique situation in Evolve. There's no secret, Evolve, WWE, the relationship there. You're in the Evolve Tag Team Title Tournament coming up with Drew Gulak, Catchpoint. Talk a little bit about what you guys got going on there with Tracy Williams.
Well, I think it's pretty cool to be part of a group that we all have this. I mean, a lot of groups are formed based on styles, but I think that it's kind of rare that you see guys that are the catch wrestling and technical style. Usually that doesn't adapt itself or lend itself towards a team format, because usually those guys are very good at one-on-one situations. I mean, it's like a great one-on-one player in basketball. Sometimes you don't find a lot of them all on the same team, but I think that in this case, it's one of the rare times that you basically have four guys who are, for lack of a better term, incredible at handling the ball and incredible offense and great at one-on-one wrestling, and I think that it'll be cool to see what we can do together. So.
It's very scary what these guys are going to do together. Going to start taking over Evolve very soon. I know it's no secret, mo-capping is something you're very good at. Talk a little about mo-capping, video games, that whole thing.
Well, I do like a little bit of stunt work and things like that, obviously, like you said. And recently I was actually, I did some stunt work for an episode of Full House, which I thought was pretty cool. Wow. They're doing a reboot called Fuller House, and so they had a wrestling episode, and I did some stunt work for it. And I actually, when I was younger, I had been put into acting like a child actor, and then I had a SAG card and everything, and now I guess that I'm older and I actually understand the entertainment world. I'm kind of able to go back to it and do some side projects and things and third-party stuff, which I love wrestling, but it's cool to branch out and do some other stuff. So
absolutely. Global Force Wrestling, some of you popped up in 2015 as well. Got to talk a little bit about your experience as well. And newer promotion, Jeff Jarrett, obviously you're very familiar with your TNA work. Talk a little bit about Global Force Wrestling and what it's done for you.
I think it's pretty cool to be in on the ground floor of something. I've been lucky enough, or I mean, sometimes it's maybe embarrassing. I've been around so long, but
I think about it when our interviews and you talking about the past and how long you've been around. It's just like you're such a veteran, you don't realize it.
Well, I mean, 17 years I've been able to see a lot of different generations. So, I first went to Ring of Honor. They were about in their first years, 2003, and in TNA, same thing. I was there for their first episode on Spike. I was still there when they had the Fox Sports television thing. So I've seen a couple generations go from New Japan and stuff. I was in the beginning in PWG, things like that. So I feel like it's really cool to get in at the ground floor of something else. And in this case, Global Force, I mean, it's such an incredible roster in that it's not really a roster. I mean, it's really
a mix of talent, just a mix of the best talent in the world.
It's kind of like, I feel like it's kind of like the Champions League in soccer. They're taking the best from different stuff. I'm a big sports guy. You can't trust a man who don't like sports. But so I kind of feel like it's like that. They're able to pull, talent and people from different parts of the globe and different major league companies. And I feel like it's sort of like a PWG on a larger scale. PWG pulls talent from everywhere else on the independent level, and I feel like Global Force is doing that on the mainstream level, guys that they can get with as much experience as possible. And it's just cool to be at the start of things and see it develop. I feel like it's a time that wrestling fans haven't ever had before. It's unprecedented. So now that things are a little bit more flexible in terms of work and working relationships, I feel like it's for the first time they'll be able to see a mainstream major league level place where a lot of different places can come together. So
that's what it's about at the end of the day. Wrestling, working together, getting places for the boys to work. I totally agree with you, man. It's a fantastic time in professional wrestling right now. But I'm done raving about professional wrestling. Let's get your social media out there. Get to your fans. Send a little message out. If you're following me on any social media, thank you very much. You have to probably sit through a lot of random Laker messages and crap like that. But if you want to find me, well, it's 20 years, it's about time. It's nice to see him just wrap up and on his way out. But if you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at Maskara Manik. That's Maskara with a K. I put it over on commentary tonight.
Oh, cool, awesome. Yeah, you can tell TNA that none of you guys want to see me in a mask anymore. It's pretty cool if you want.
I don't want to see him in a mask anymore. All we want is TJP. Hashtag.
And on Instagram, Pinoy TJP. And I mean, that's really it. I'm not really that big of a social media guy, but if you want to find me, you can find me there.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for the time. Let's get you back here in Alpha One Wrestling really soon.
I would love to.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, man.
Thank you, man. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.